into compliance with the city. That's one of the terms is the house had liens. All right, so that was another factor. We had to get the liens off the property. You're gonna come across those. I love those deals. They take long, but it's how you get deals is people don't want to deal with liens. So the city said you got to remove this guy, and code enforcement was not gonna remove him.
Why?
That's not their job.
Okay.
That's West Palm's job. So we kicked him out. He broke back in the next day. He set the house on fire. He was running a prostitution ring. He was selling drugs. He was doing the most. Yeah. This is the part of the business. You know what I mean?
This is good.
He was stealing water. The city finally shut that down.
You're a whole criminal.
He ran the water bill up to like $20,000.
How? I have so many questions to ask him. You don't need that?
This is what happened. When you have a house that's vacant, depending on the city still rolls the bill. The bill is still rolling. I don't care if you don't, the water bill is still rolling. So factor in, he stole all the water, they backdated it, interest, it just compiled.
So, okay, all right.
This guy was, let me tell you, this guy is like none other. He, FP&L, he stole the meters. So guess what? The city called FP&L and they took the whole power cord down. He finally got shut down. This guy was he was living like a king. He had AC. He was living for free.
I have so many questions.
So finally we got that settled. That took like a year. Right? So fast forward to Christmas. Christmas time of last year, we were about to go to closing, and Mr. Guy who let the guy live there, who signed the documents, Steve called me. And that's kind of the reason, but Steven was like, look, man, you ain't closing on this. So he had a lien for $500,000.
Jesus Christ.
We had to negotiate with the IRS to take his share of, I can't go into detail, but basically his share of the sale of the property was so minuscule, it was like $500 that the IRS was owed.
Oh, wow.
And it held us up for another 6 months. So now, where we are, our investor, he wanted a deal. So I'm gonna tell you, when you got a great deal, this is how you gonna have a great deal. The investor paid off the foreclosure. That's where we at now. He paid it off out his pocket.
Oh, wow.
So we were headed to auction, and the judge said, look, this has been going on too long. The bank does not trust another extension. We're going to auction. So the investor had one choice, pay cash. He paid cash, now we're just waiting on the mortgage satisfaction to close. So we in October. I'm hoping it's done this month, but it's almost been 3 years.
Jesus.
A lot.
That has a lot to do with COVID.
COVID kind of threw it was just a time.
That would have happened that way if COVID wasn't around.
Go ahead.
So you say when you call someone, like the main objective is to meet up and get to walk through the property, right?
Yes.
Could you kind of go through, like, because I've never done a walkthrough personally, could you kind of go through what you're looking to accomplish in a walkthrough, and especially like how you estimate the repair costs?
Okay, so my number one goal if the seller's not there, or if they're there, I prefer them to be there. Sometimes they are out of state, but my number one objective, and you're gonna be like, what? Is to get great pictures. And Rich can attest to this. If I have great pictures, I can do this deal sight unseen. I don't have to compensate or bring some cash buyers through. I can get it under contract, get the pictures, and get it under contract right there on the spot. That's my objectives at the appointment. So when I'm in front of the seller, like me and Rich had that interaction, I'm looking them directly in the eye. You don't want to be like looking all lost, stumbling over your words. When I go to an appointment, I already know what I'm going to offer. And Gigi can tell you, I'll be like, look, if it's condition is here, this is what we're offering. The condition is here, here's what we're going to offer. So it's kind of like you got to play it real time. You got to kind of, adjust with what you see because you don't know what you're about to see. You know, I can walk in and okay, roaches everywhere, or I can walk in and I'm like, it's a hotel. This is great because I now have room to negotiate. So I prefer a hotel deal over anything. And if you don't know what a hotel is, basically it's a property that needs less than like 10 grand in repairs. I just come in, paint, maybe change a few vanity, a toilet, and that's it. I prefer that every day, all day. Go ahead.
Okay, question, like when today I was with y'all.
Yes.
You found the married, separated, not divorced couple that owned
I love those two.
They own 4 properties.
Yes.
And all of them was, well, you know. How would you do them individually or would it be a portfolio?
So I've only come across a couple times where I found a deal and they offered me to buy their other homes. I don't want to kind of like just immediately get to that, like, hey, you know, sell me other houses.
Yeah, we noticed all of them.
Yeah, you kind of want to ease your way into it. So how I would do it is, let's get this deal done, and just let them know, like, hey, you know, if you got any other properties, I'm interested. I've done a deal where I showed up to an appointment, right? And the dude was so motivated. I don't know if you can look up power of attorneys, but
Yeah.
though that's a great list. I don't know how to get a hold of it, but when it's a power of attorney, the guy showed up, it was his mother-in-law.
Ooh.
Right? He was a power of attorney, and his wife was making him do everything, and he was just like,
Over
dude, just do it. Like, he's like, 100,000. I got there. He's like, look, I got a house right around the corner also that we're gonna sell. I was like, oh, let's go. It was Lake Worth, East Lake Worth. So if y'all know the area. Yeah. So we showed up. I'm like, right there on the spot. We did 2 contracts.
Okay.
So I just did 2 separate contracts because he only had those 2 properties. So, oh yeah.
Okay, the question I had
Yes.
about the contract,
Yes.
deciding whether to go a 2-page or a 4-bar.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not too keen about contract. It's usually typical
Okay.
2-page. But if I have my own, well, I do have my own real estate attorney,
Okay.
and they come back. Well, if they have a problem with the contract.
Okay.
We preferably should I go with my real estate attorney or go with the title company?
So in that scenario, I come across that all the time. We're like, line 4, what's going on with this line? If it's not going to impact the deal, just exit out initially.
Okay.
You know, if it's not going to be like something major, you don't want to X out where you can't like come after them. You know what I mean? Like if they try to take out the, what's that term? Legally binding contract to where, you know, if you default, okay, yeah, there we go. The default line, you never want to X that out because you give them basically an out to just say, screw you, I'm going with another deal or I'm not doing the deal no more. So the default line holds them to the legally binding contract. So just in that instance, what I do is I'll say, hey, Mr. Seller, you want me, you know, I can make this real easy. I'll just take those lines out of the contract, and that's just, it works all the time.
So let's say the seller sees the assignment clause on the contract.
Okay.
Assume like that they has a problem with it.
Mhm.
How do you go about that?
I've been doing this almost 4 years. No seller has ever questioned me about an assignment. All it states on the contract that I use, it states this contract is assignable. You will I'm telling you right now, you will come across a realtor that has a problem with it. And I don't know how you handle it, Rich, but I've had deals where the realtor sunk it because they didn't understand the assignment fee. But the seller, I've never had to explain. I don't even bring it up. You know, I'm the cash buyer.
Have you ever had to do a double close or something like that?
Thank you. So that's how you get around it. The seller has an issue with the assignment, transactional funding, double close. So I've done few double closes, just sign the contract between you and the seller. That's the A contract. All right, your end buyer is the B contract. You get the money in the middle. So it sounds complicated, but it's so simple. Yeah.
How did you first build your buyer's list?
Oh, that's a great question. So there is so many ways to do it. This is probably the easiest way. Going to the RIA meetups. My first buyer, I knew him from the brokerage. So I kind of already had one buyer, but I know tons of buyers, but Facebook Marketplace.
Okay.
In the field. The MLS, I found buyers. How else have we found buyers? They just, I don't know. They just seem to, you're gonna attract buyers once you start doing it. Like, don't get too stressed, but Facebook Marketplace is a great way to start. The MLS, a little trick that I do, let's say you have a contract in Delray, East Delray, right? Let's say you find a deal, and you're like, damn, I ain't got a buyer, what am I gonna do? If you don't have access, you got access to the MLS?
I do, yes.
All right. This is the easiest way to find a buyer. You go to the MLS, you take your little triangular line, you line it up on the neighborhood, right? One by one, you can tell a house that's been flipped by an investor. I can look at it, okay, they did the HGTV style house, right? I see who bought that house. Bam, there's a buyer right there. I just cold call them.
So
And that's, Rich does that too, just
how do
cold
you
call.
cold call a buyer?
Easy. You say, hey, my name's Nadia. I have a deal here. I'm a wholesaler. They're gonna be like, oh, for real? I'm like, oh,
They gonna say just like
this is my
that.
lucky day. Am I right or wrong? This is my lucky day. Just cold call them.
Okay.
Just cold call them.
That's what I hope they say just like that too.
So we were making cold calls for the first time yesterday. We just-
Okay. Oh, cool.
And there are so many different leads that we've been pulling with. We use batch leads right now.
Okay.
You were saying earlier that you were following up with that one lady you finally got a deal with. How do you know, when do I know when to follow up? Because there are so many.
Oh, that's the science of wholesaling. Honestly, bro, some people have a CRM and they'll put it on a schedule. You gotta this is the fine line because you don't want to tick the seller off calling them every 2 weeks. Like, okay, you ready to sell the house? And they're like, I just talked to you a week ago. Honestly, you just gotta go off your gut instinct. Depending on the situation, really. How urgent, how motivated are they to sell? We got a lead today. I'm calling the guy in the morning because he's homeless.
Yeah.
The house is in foreclosure.
You got other money high.
It's a probate. You don't have money for an attorney. So it really depends. Like if it's a hot lead, I'm on a follow up ASAP. But if it's something to where the house is kind of just sitting and it's vacant, I might check in maybe every 30 days, 3 weeks. And so what's gonna happen? They're gonna remember your number. They may even block you. Get relentless on contacting them. I don't care if they block you, cuss you out, tell you no. The guy I was telling you about that I met in Lake Worth, that he sold me his 2 houses. The first time I contacted them, they hung up on me and said, no, we're not selling the house. It was a year later. So I don't know how you want to keep track of your leads. CRM, I don't use a CRM, by the way. So I just happened to say, you know what, I'm going to go through this stack of leads that I have for foreclosures. And he was one of the people that I called. And when I called them, they were like, we need to sell it now. So don't ever think that the first no, you're done. Because she can tell you. I'm like, remember that lady told us no? And now look, she signed the contract. So that's just how it is.
Just to follow up, so a lot of the leads we have that we skip trace, they have emails on as well. Do you use anything that sends out mass emails to different leads that you have?
I don't have that email blast.
Clavio.
Some people.
You can,
Go ahead.
already got a reply, you can do blast there.
Yeah.
And you do have text blast as well?
Just careful with the text messages.
Yeah, you
all
get
that
sued.
things. And so if it seems that you're blasted, it'll detect that account as spam. So you'd be paying money, but you'd be on the verge of losing that account. But email won't. I don't think it'll flag it.
Yeah, I'm not like, I'm an 80s baby, but I'm not really deep into the technology. Like, I'm old school, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just hardcore, follow up. I have sales background, you know, so I kind of know how the sales game works. I got pen and paper, dude, like,
No organization.
I'll just leave you with this. Some people like to, they don't want to talk on the phone. They want to text. So if they want to text. I've called people late at night, 11 o'clock at night.
Oh.
What?
Oh, yeah. Dude, bro,
In California, right?
I had sellers like text me and say, "Can you talk now?" Like, shit.
Oh, no, but that was like a pre-arranged.
Yeah, like, bro, it's
That's the only time they could talk.
It's a lot of this business is informal. Like, you see how I'm dressed now? I don't even go on appointments like this. I literally show up.
Like you're broke.
Not that I'm broke, but you want to kind of be relatable. Like, you know,
Women can't do that.
Yeah, you want to just be more relatable, honestly.
Women can't do
Before you take the next question, before people start leaving, Matt already left. Can you select the winner?
Oh, okay.
I usually have the guest speaker. Put your ticket in there.
What are we giving away?
We're giving away this boombox. I normally give away.
Oh, we're supposed to put it in now?
No. Yours is already in here. You're gonna read the last three. I gave George his ticket.
Oh, you did?
George has been here many times. Yeah, I gave George a ticket. No, I normally give away wine or books, but the last three meetups, Whitty won 3 in a row. So don't pick Whitty's ticket. Whitty, if you win today, we're gonna talk, brother. It's a boombox radio. It lights up. You have some fun with it. It's viral. The last 3 digits.
Last 3 digits, okay.
The last 3.
This is the one, right? The last 3 digits are 187.
You a lie.
I swear.
It's not.
It's not you.
Damn!
We didn't win. George. Who got it?
You got it right there.
That's an A-frame.
My guy with the radio voice. Dion, right?
Doran.
Congratulations, brother. I like your voice. Go ahead. You hear this guy's voice? He's incredible. He'll be on the radio. There you go,
How much time we got left, Rich? Oh, it's 8 o'clock? Okay.
I have 2 questions.
Okay.
What was your biggest wholesale deal as far as assignment fee?
Okay.
I'll let you answer that first, and then what's your next question?
My biggest wholesale assignment today is $60,000, which I did this year.
Okay, question. How do you present your fee? How do you negotiate the fee? How does the fee come about? What's the percentage? Like, how does that work?
With that deal?
With any deal.
So most of the time, I'm not negotiate. I never negotiate my fee with the seller. It's the whole name of the game is to get it at the lowest price. So let's say, for instance, the house is worth $200,000. I have a formula that I use that I come up with my max offer. So that's how I come up with my offer. So I already know, like, okay, we're going on an appointment. On this deal, I can already know what kind of deal it is. The one that I did for the $60,000, the reason I made so much money on the deal was because of the neighborhood.
Okay.
The neighborhood comps were almost $600,000, and I was able to get it under contract for like $300,000.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But the guy, he was all messed up. He had no job. I had to cover his attorney fees. Yeah.
Yeah, so based on your experience with everything you went through, finding sellers, how do you find clients that go in deals, have situations, and where you find them?
So the best list I would say is pre-foreclosure. Here's the thing with the pre-foreclosure, 90% of those deals don't happen in 30 days. Most of those deals are 2 to 3 months, average. But that's the #1 list for me, in tax delinquent.
When you make your bigger post out, did you straight assign it or did you double close it?
I double close. And this is the reason why I double close. Because my attorney gave me the heads up. He was like, dude, the guy came in the office and he has to sign something called an LSA where the attorney represents him. He read every page. He was like, I haven't had no one do that in a long time. So that kind of tipped me off like, this guy is watching everything. And at the closing, guess what he was doing? Every paper.
He is me, I am him.
The notary handed him a paper, he's reading it.
I
So
did that today. I said,
you just, again, you gotta identify who you're dealing with.
Yeah.
So have you ever had to pay, like, is it usual to pay upfront costs when you're dealing with a realtor? Like, this, we had someone, like, we never had this before, but someone was like, you have to pay an upfront brokerage fee, an upfront fee, and also.
I wish I would've, I wish I'd been able to cross the. No, you don't have to. When the realtor get involved, it can get tricky, you know. Some realtors, they do operate like that where, I want you to sign this, I want you to pay my transaction fee. Just try to negotiate it. That's all you can do.
What percentage of ARV are making your offers in today's market?
What'd you say about the ARV?
What percentage of ARV are making the offers in today's market?
Oh, okay, so like how the formula works, basically? So on average, and I learned this from the guy originally I told you about in the beginning,